I I was expecting while grinding Pokemon to come across a Pidgeotto, which is the Pokemon I actually really want to get. This is a 1% chance of getting, so I'm hoping he doesn't faint. We're actually gonna try this here. Yeah, we're gonna keep tackling. Okay. I don't want to really rely on Pikachu for damage, but I will if I have to. I feel like Pikachu would kill. Yes, Millhouse. We're gonna go ahead and Thunder Wave here. And then we're going to Thundershock in the hopes that it doesn't kill. Maybe I'll just try catching it because I need myself a Pidgeotto. Come on. This is kind of intense, not gonna lie. The chance of me getting another one is like not impossible, just annoying. Come on. Alright. Another potion. All my potions on this. If I can get a Pidgeotto. Don't kill. Oh, that's. Alright, we're gonna pray. I hope. Ah, what it is. Part the episode is with a Pidgeotto caught. Ah, that's what I wanted. I wanted a Pidgeotto so bad. And it has a genuine 1% chance of spawning. Like that, this is kind of nice. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to grinding, I guess. Everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Yellow. Hope you guys enjoyed the last one. Today we'll be kind of doing all of the kind of Pewter City stuff and working our way towards Mount Moon. That's the kind of big goal for today. Last time we basically did all the normal Pokemon stuff up until Pewter City. There's not a lot to really work with. But as you saw in the beginning, we accomplished a few things. It looks like I have cat ears. Angle. Funny. So as seen, Nidoran is level 12. We were very particular for that because he gets double kick, which will be Chef's Kiss, mwah, perfect against Brock, and really helpful with our battles. Millhouse still level 9, and we got ourselves a Pidgeotto, a 1% chance encounter in Viridian Forest, and well worth the effort and stress that it caused. So. Not a lot to do in Pewter City, honestly. If it isn't for the gym, you don't really have a lot of reason here. Really don't. I will showcase this. This is kind of a cute little side thing for Pokemon. Also, the segment I would like to do is how is Pikachu doing? As throughout the game, Pikachu gets a variety of expressions. It's kind of his big thing. But if you have Jigglypuff, which is in the other Gen 1 games. It's not just exclusively for Yellow. Pikachu is asleep. Pikachu is completely asleep, and we can adventure without him, and he just kind of stays there. Yeah, Pikachu is completely asleep. We can wake him up. Oh no, yep, we woke him up. Yeah. If you want to kind of, if you leave or he'll wake up. We'll come back with you. Yeah, that's a cute little add-on for this game. In terms of items, I don't really feel like I need a whole lot, so we're just gonna hop straight into the gym. I am very, I'm very like to the point with when it comes to Pewter City. There's not a lot to do here in Pewter City. So yeah, we're gonna be taking on Brock. First, we're gonna be taking on his little sidekick. Stop right there, kid. You're still light years from facing Brock. The famous quote from this gym, I guess. Just find a junior trainer here. Names didn't exist until next game, sadly. Good old... See how lethal our double kick is? Still speedier than us, that's okay. As you can see, pretty good. This is our staple attack for a little bit, and it will be very helpful in Mount Moon. Trust me. That's one Pokemon down. Next up, Sandshrew. As, to be honest, neither of our current other Pokemon really help out here. I guess Sandshrew is... I guess because he's not ground. Because I actually meant to do Horn Attack there. Like a critical hit. Another scratch from Sandshrew. No biggie on me. Let's go ahead and attempt Horn Attack and see if that does anything. Yes, actually, Horn Attack is somewhat lethal. I don't know the stats on Horn Attack. I probably should look that up. Well, 13. Our boy's getting pretty beefy. And now I'm going to heal up, and we're going to go into the main course of this bit. Use a potion. I don't really want to leave just to do that, so we'll be fine. I think we'll be good for the battle. Let's go ahead. Hello, Brock. I'm Brock. I'm Pewter's gym leader. I believe in rock hard defense and determination, but my Pokemon are all rock type. You still want to challenge me? Fine then. Show me your best. Some interesting thing about Brock that doesn't get mentioned often. I'm going to mention it here. Why not? Brock really has a lot of full heals. So if you were to bring, say, like a Butterfree in with you to battle and then attempted to, you know, sleep powder or whatever, he has full heals. Kind of a weird like thing I didn't know until I was doing a challenge run as like a randomizer, and he had just full heals all the time. It was very weird. Yeah, Geodude becoming literal butter against a hot knife here against our Nidoran. Barely any damage. Onyx will be an interesting one to kind of worry about, as Bide is... Ooh, he did miss his bind. I have a feeling he's gonna go for it again, so we're gonna preemptively do... Okay, no, actually, oops. It's fine, we're gonna Leer. Oh gosh, I forgot how awful Leer was. Oh, this is Bind. I'm thinking Bide. I'm being stupid. I confused two very similar sounding moves in my head. Double kick. We should be perfectly fine. At a pretty lethal amount. Will that kill? Yes, it will. Nidoran absolutely dominating this area. Brock defeated. I took you for granted. As proof of your victory, here's the Boulder Badge. And we have received the Boulder Badge. It's an official Pokemon League badge. Better Pokemon become more powerful. I think Flash can now be used anytime. I do believe Gen 1 introduces like a weird stat boost to Pokemon. I kind of forget about that sometimes. Such a random addition to Pokemon that I don't always think about. But it is in fact a thing. When you defeat certain gym leaders, you will get stat boosts. Again, I don't get it. It's a feature that got dropped, so you know how popular that kind of was. That's Brock taken care of. I'm gonna go and heal, and then we will take on the the route to Mountain Moon, essentially. All right, and off we go on to the next route. Off we go. We're now making our way to... Also, if you were to come here before being the gym, there's a guy who would stop you and like take you to the gym. You can technically glitch it out to cause it to let you walk through walls. I'm not really sure how that one works, but it is possible. Say we have a full team. I think I want to give Pidgeotto a bit of a try. Give him like a bit of a chance here. Yeah, why not? You looked like me, didn't you? I forget what your Pokemon are. It's been long enough that I kind of forget what any of the Pokemon in this route are. Pidgey. Not the best matchup against Geodo, but at least give it a try. Yeah, not a whole lot. I might swap over to Pikachu. Pikachu's at the same level, they're about equivalent. Get some switch training in. Will this technically two-shot, but one-shot Pikachu? Yep, it will. They crit a bit of an overkill, but we'll take it. And then another Pidgey. I think I'll keep Millhouse out for now. Let him just full on Thunder Shock into that, and then deal with that. I'm really tempted on rewatching the Pokemon anime lately. It's been a while, and I really want to try out the Orange Island series, maybe the Johto series. Years ago, I watched like a good 16 episodes of the Gen 3 anime, and that it's I think while the Gen 1 anime is kind of a bit of a goofy history to it, like it's a very goofy anime. But I think it's like the most, like one of the more solid ones we did get. We've gotten some decent Pokemon animes. Gen 3 I would probably put more towards the bottom. Going off a ranking of what I've watched, Indigo would be like probably top 3 at least. I heard the black and white anime is good if you watch it subbed, but I don't know if I'm about that life, you know, watching Pokemon a subbed anime context. And then I think the Diamond and Pearl anime is probably pretty decent if I rewatch it. I remember it being like pretty interesting, at least like interesting. But that was like when I got really into Pokemon. I got platinum for my birthday in 2000, I want to say, and I loved that game. And I've kind of had a curse with Gen 4 video. I always lose them. I've bought so many copies of Diamond and Platinum. So many copies, and I've lost them all. It's so sad. I've gone through so many copies. And, like, I don't know, I've never lost video games like that before. I have every other Pokemon game, for the most part. You know, I've lost some through moving, but like if it's been like 3DS games, I have all mine. I have my Sun and my Moon copy. I have my Alpha Sapphire copy. I have my copy. I have all of them, but for some reason, when it comes to Gen 4, I just lose all of them. I still have Black too. I think that's, yeah, that one goes for pretty much a lot. So like, there are games I'm definitely sitting on that I feel like if I were to sell them, I'd get like a decent chunk of money. But I can't bring myself to do it. I don't know, just something about like, I want to keep the Pokemon games. I do hope we get like, I want to be able to capture like actual save files. But the logistics is kind of too expensive. Like I own a GameCube and I own a copy of like Leaf Green, and I would love to do a Let's Play of that, like actual physical cartridge. Expense wise, I don't know. Rattata actually knocked out my Pidgeotto. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if you guys have ever seen how much a Game Boy player like goes for. Like the actual Game Boy player itself goes for like next to nothing. But if we're talking the like actual disc you need to play the games, it's pretty terrible. I've seen them go for like $100. That's how bad it kind of got. I don't know what they are now, but I can't imagine they got better. So, God, retro gaming is an expensive hobby, and it's kind of gotten worse. I think prices have kind of gotten worse. Because I think people latch on to the idea that like they're worth something, and they kind of are, but it's really tough, especially when I'm very much an advocate for video game, video game preservation, because I think we as a society do not preserve them well, and we really should. like if we're talking physical games, it's really impossible to actually like do anything. You have to emulate if you want to play like most games. Really sad. Ignore that I went in there. I didn't actually need to go in there. I need the Pokemon Center. I'm just ditzy right now. Alright, back to what I was doing. Like, I'm lucky to have a PS3, which I think is a pretty good system for, like, PlayStation preservation a little bit. Being able to play a game as old. I think Sony has done, like, an okay job. But they're doing better than most to an extent. Like, if I had to rank, like, preservation, I think Xbox has tried, like, the hardest to preserve games. Like, I think they really have tried. Then I'd go Sony, and then I would go Nintendo. And I know some people would like kind of bring up like, what about the fact you can emulate their games on their own console, and you've been able to do that for like 3 generations now. And while that is technically true, a lot of Nintendo games are not going to see the Switch Online, and then they're being able to buy off of the Wii U and Wii are no longer a thing. So. And then Nintendo is so anti-consumer that just as they were shutting down the 3DS, like months later, they do an update that breaks modded 3DSs. So like, it's really tough to defend Nintendo in that sense. I think Nintendo does it really, like they try, but I don't think they try hard enough, and I think they're too worried about like their brand to care enough about preservation. I know this is kind of a weird conversation, but I don't know. It's tough to think of Nintendo in that terms. I wish they would try a little harder, essentially. Like, the only Pokemon games that I've ever like seen actual like ported to modern hardware was Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal on the 3DS, which is now gone. Like the store is gone, so you can't do that anymore. And like, it's rough. Like especially if you want to experience these games. Like, we got a remake of Gen 4, sure, but it's not a well-received remake. I thought it was okay, but I can understand completely the issues people have with it. Like it's definitely a bit rough around the edges, and they definitely was not a top priority. I think, well, like I said, I think Xbox is doing pretty okay. They're just now shutting down the Xbox 360 store years like after it's been like done. It's been 10 years since the Xbox One got a release, so like I think they're doing pretty okay. Sony, I don't have a modern Sony like PlayStation, so I can't really like fully commit to an opinion on them in terms of their preservation, but I think that they really tried. Like I've seen their library for like their PlayStation, like their version of Game Pass. I've seen like a lot of like retro titles show up, and that's like what I'm kind of going off of, and theirs seem more in depth. And plus, you can easily like, I don't know, like, I don't know what I'm saying entirely about PlayStation. I don't want to really commit to an opinion because I don't feel like I should commit to an opinion. Oh, come on, are you two-shotting me? You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. I wanted to let Pikachu level up with the rest of us because he's gonna slow down because we'll be in an area where he can't really level up as easy as the other ones can. It's gonna be mostly Nidoran. Pidgeotto is gonna also be in the same like slot, but like, come on, don't do me dirty like that. I don't really feel like going back and healing. That's okay. Pikachu can kind of be reserved for fights against trainers. That's all I can really do with him right now. Hey, it's an Nidoran. That's okay. Just you. We defeated the last. Alright, and then you are the last. Also, yeah, Pikachu is now not following us, sadly. So I think we're gonna keep Pidgeotto in the top slot on that one. You can fight my new Pokemon. I definitely think, like, video game preservation, it's a niche topic, and I don't think a lot of people care about it, but, like, kind of experiencing, like, games just stop existing is so, it's kind of sad to me. Like, imagine imagine you're a kid and you grew up with, like, Skyland. Like, that's now, I know for me that's a weird concept because I'm 26 and my mindset's very, like, bubbled into my own experience of, like, my age group. But, like, kids, at least teenagers and adults, are gonna start being really, like, nostalgic for Skylanders, and that is such a, like, terrible thing to collect for, because, like, if I remember right, I don't know if it's Skylanders or it's one of those, like, adjacent games, or it's Skylanders where the actual, like, figurines themselves, the thing used to scan is starting to, like, I don't know what the entire method is, but I do know it's starting to, like, stop working because of age. And that just kind of completely destroys it. I know there's fixes, but still, like, it's gonna get harder and harder to kind of get that stuff done. And I don't know, it's I wish companies would care more about that, and I know they don't. I know they're not going to, and I know it's not in their best interest. But, like, as a PlayStation 2 fan, I know I just, like, said PlayStation doing okay, but for, like, PlayStation 2, they should do a lot. It's so hard to play, like, PlayStation 2 games nowadays. I have to genuinely emulate them, because especially when I play them in HD, I have to either buy a old PlayStation 3 that's known for breaking, or I buy an adapter for a PlayStation 2 and I don't have a working one, and they're starting to become a little bit more rare. So, that's why I'm happy for Atari. I know Atari is making new Atari 2600s, like, with HDMI. That was a very fast fight. Oh my gosh. So I'm really proud of Atari for doing that. And I don't know if other companies are going to do that, but I do hope some follow suit. Like, I would love Sega to, like, make updated, like, Dreamcast. Ooh, I better take a rest, bro. That tunnel from Cerulean takes a lot out of you. Yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed my video game preservation rant. I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to use this series as, like, a way of, like, helping myself get better at, like, talking, like, using it as, like, a podcast thing, because I know that this game's very long, so less to talk about in between battles. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time when we take on Mount Moon, all the adjacent stuff involving that. I'll see you guys then. Goodbye for now.